All right. So, what are we supposed to be doing tonight?
Video.
Inventor.
Partly. Why did I go there? So tonight we're doing successive auxiliary views. So last week we did one auxiliary view, right? Right? So what was the point of an auxiliary view?
See the true shape.
Yeah, to see the true shape of a plane, right? True shape, true size of a plane. So, what did we have to be able to do that? No. What did we have to use as our basis for making that true shape? No, before that. Before all that. What?
First view, your first view.
No, but even more basic than that. Because we could have done an auxiliary from the top or the front or the side, right? So what do we need to know on that view to be able to make the folding line? No, that's where you measure. How do you create that folding line?
From the edge.
From the edge view, right? So, like this one, that's our edge view. We can copy the edge view over and make that into our folding line, right? So I'll copy that over here, and I'll pull it out, turn it into a folding line. And I'll connect those, right? And we want construction. Or change that to be lime green. You guys see that? Actually, let me throw it up on your guys' screen. There you guys got it? If it didn't come up on your screen, look at the computer next to you that it came up on. Then move over to one of the other ones where you can see it.
Those computers not locked in, or?
Yeah.
Got that right there.
Yeah, if it didn't come up on your screen, move to a computer that you can see it on.
Got this one on right there.
That one's working. Is that one working? Okay. Alright, so why did I connect those points?
So you know where to make your
Because that's where I want to measure, right?
line.
So I'm going to measure 2 views back. So this is 1 view, 2
Two.
views. So I need to measure from this folding line back to the points. And so I drew the line Y. Why draw the line?
Keep tracking.
That's when you track, and also what?
Once you change your UCS, you have a...
Yeah, once I turn my UCS, I can't use tracking anymore to do that. So that's the next step, right? So UCS, OB, click on that line. Now my UCS is turned. So now I can draw lines 90 degrees to that one. So now I can draw a line from here, just pull it straight out, from there, pull it out, from there, pull it out, right? Now I'm going to offset. Now I'm first going to find points E and F. So I'm going to go from E and F to that intersection, folding line out. Right? So where's point F?
At the bottom.
So I just follow the line, and it's right there, right?
Yep.
Point E, right there too, right?
Yep.
I can get rid of that line. I don't need it anymore, it's going to get confusing. And I'll offset the next line. So the next line is D and C. Over there. Copy that. Follow the line. Put it there. Is that right? I can erase that line. Now B and A. And then connect the dots. Right? Now this view is true length, true size, and I actually measure those distances and see how big that plane is. Right? So UCS, enter. And so I can go in and use measure and measure it out and see it. What's another way I can see the length of that line? And then maybe I can leave it on the screen. I can dimension it. Can I use that dimension? No, right? I want to use a line dimension. Remember, hit enter, now I can just pick the line. Whatever I want, right? So that way you can leave it on the screen, you can see what those dimensions are. Okay? So now, what if I wanted to know the area of that? How can I find the area of that shape? Without doing math.
Make it an object.
No, it's object layer. So how can I find the area of that?
Is there a measure tool for it?
And measure. I can do area. I can just start clicking points, right? And it tells me what it is. What else could I do? Still, I'm still going to use that area tool. What's an easier way of doing it without having to pick all those points?
Highlight.
I think you're on the right track.
Did you highlight it and do it?
No,
Solidified into a solid object. Or
not a solid object. Yeah, polyline, right? If I make it a polyline, I can make it a continuous line, and then I can just do area object and pick that object to find the area of that shape. So PE for polyline edit, or you can go to modify poly edit right here. Pick one of them. Says it's not a polyline. Do you want to turn it into one? Say, of course I do, or else I wouldn't have picked it. And then you just pick the other ones you want. So you can pick join. I forgot which one I picked first, so I'm just going to pick them all again. And it says that it added 5 segments to the polyline, down on the command line. 5 segments added. Here, at the top, instead of having the option to close, now I have the option to open. That tells me that it's a closed shape now. So I can hit enter. Now I can go to area, OB, click on that. Now I get the area there. It kind of depends on how you want to do it. If when I drew these lines to connect it, if I had drawn it as a polyline, I wouldn't have had to make it into one later. Okay? So, and a lot of times when you're doing auxiliaries for this kind of stuff, your end goal is going to be to find the area. So it might be a good idea to get in the habit of drawing that final closed shape as a polyline. So that saves you a step.
So you can draw the whole thing, all the steps as part.
Yeah, so when I got to this point with all the points,
Yeah.
if I had done a polyline, and told it to close, now it's polyline. I don't have to do that step of turning it into one. Okay? Questions? So that was last week. So this week, I have this, and I want to see the true shape of that. I don't have an edge view. What do I do to find the edge view? How do I get an edge view from that?
You go with the top end.
Can use the top. 2 steps back.
I might be able to do it from the top. let's go from the side though. What do we do to find the edge view? Do I look back here and see?
You have a,
What did we do here to find the edge view?
you go back to that image.
What?
If you go back to the other, if you make a line parallel to the AD on the bottom right, and then if it folds
Parallel.
to that line, wouldn't it be an edge view?
You're on the right track. I mean, going this way or going that way?
It's hard to tell like what angle you're looking at.
Yeah, let's look here. So I had a line here, come down.
Should you use A to F? You can't use A to F line?
What was that?
The A to F.
Because if I just did another side view, if I did a vertical fully line, I'm going to get back to that, right? And only it'll be flipped over. Right here. If I come, this one is here now, it's true length, right? Or kind of true length. If I come parallel with that this way, again, so if I do a line here perpendicular to that, make a point line there, what's going to happen to points A and B? What was that? They're going to be on top of each other, right? Because A and B are both the same distance here. A and B are both the same distance. And they're in line here. So that means here, points A and B aren't going to be top of each other. So now I'll be looking straight down that line of it. So if you have it parallel to the folding plane, one view back, and then you come perpendicular, you make your folding line perpendicular to that line, then you're going to get an edge view. Am I, these people? So could I have done anything from the top view? Are there any points in this view that are parallel to this folding line? No, right? There's no lines in this view that are parallel to that line. But there are lines in this view that are parallel to that line. So FE, DC, AB, all of those when they come down here are going to be stacked on top of each other. Is it making sense now? Alright. So now when I do my you got to watch out for those other things. UCS, object, that line. Or you can also use extension or construction lines and get a line that goes forever. Now when I offset from there to there, that's going to give me F and E, right? So F and E are on the same line here. Right? CD. That's the plane, right? All three of them are on that plane. I drew it from this point to this point, and that one's dead center on. Or not, but it's on it this way, right? So that's an edge view now. So now if I want true shape, I can come from this view, like that. Right, I can copy that over. Make a floating line there. And now do here exactly what we did here. Does that make sense? That's why we spend so much time on the basics of projecting, measuring 2 views back. Because now I've gone from 3 views to 5 views now. And that's just looking at different ways to get to a true shape view. Yeah, whatever, it has to be the line you're going to go perpendicular to needs to be parallel to the previous folding line. Okay?
So could you pick a different line and do the same thing for a different line? View or a different?
Well, it would have to come this way.
Is that what you go Billy with?
Yeah, because I don't have a.
Oh, parallel.
This line's not parallel to it. This line is parallel to it. So if I came this way up from this view, when you got give me the same thing, because AF parallel here. So if I came this way on this view.
But if you had one that a big one, oh, it's good.
So if I did a folding plane there, would that give me the same thing as this edge view? Would this one give me an edge view? Yeah, right? Because A and F is parallel to the folding line here. So if I came perpendicular, made my folding line perpendicular to AF, now when I come off, AF are going to be 1 point, right? D and E will be 1 point, B and C will be a point. So this would give me an edge view too. So that would save me doing 1 view, right?
Yeah.
Because that'd be 1 view closer. Okay?
Instead of 5, you got 4.
Yeah. So, questions? All right. So these, you should already have this side view, right? So today, the only AutoCAD one is going to even open this one up and find the true shape of this one. Do you guys want me to finish it off, or do you want me to go to the next part of the lesson? Because the next part is going to be different but funner.
Yeah, let's go to funner.
Okay. I'll close that. So the next part is, instead of doing an AutoCAD, we're going to use Inventor. And I know there's people in this class that haven't used Inventor yet. So I'm going to go over the basics of Inventor. And what we're going to do is, in Inventor, I've got some models done already, and I've got some that just have planes, kind of like what we were doing. And then with that, I'm going to show you how to use the drawings in Inventor. Because then, to do the auxiliary views, it's 3 clicks. You pick the view, you pick the line, you tell it which way to go to make your auxiliary view. And so it'll let you practice some harder things and see what exactly you have to do to get to the right view. Because if you do it wrong, you wasted 5 seconds instead of 20 minutes or an hour or 2. Okay? So, this is Inventor. Ta-da. Lights shining and flashing. So, Inventor, I've got a little video here. You might want to watch these videos. I'm going to show you this first one right now. But this is, you also want to watch this one. I'm going to talk about this stuff, but you also want to watch it. This last one is going to be for some stuff we do later on, so you don't have to watch this one right now. but I think next week we'll do this stuff. Or, no, not next week, but in 2 weeks we'll do this stuff. Or something like it. So, there's no sound. Inventor has a couple different file types. You have a part file, which is the actual individual parts. You have an assembly file, which is where you put parts together. You have a presentation where they kind of show an exploded view. And you have a drawing where you can see different views of a part or of an assembly. And kind of to keep everything organized, you have a project file, which we put into a folder. Okay? So you're going to have one folder that has all these different files for this project. And you have to keep that whole folder together. Okay? So, if we go and look at the V40-4 drive and the 25 folder, we have a folder called Aux Practice. If I go look inside that folder, I see that I have a bunch of IPT files for all the different parts. I have an IDW, which is the drawing file that has the different pages of 2D views. And I have an IPJ file. That's the kind of the, hey, this is the folder that contains this project file. It's telling Inventor, hey, this is where you want to look for this project. Okay? And then you have a folder called Old Versions, and that's for backup copies. Like in AutoCAD, it saves a BAK file. Here in Inventor, it throws the old version in that folder and kind of renames a little bit. So what we want to do, you want to take that folder from the H drive and just drag it onto your desktop and say yes. Okay, so you want to copy that onto your desktop. Okay, because if you try and open it from here, you're going to get problems because you can't save on the H drive, and it needs to be able to save into that folder. Okay, so you copy it onto your desktop. We'll go to Inventor. We're going to go to Open. And then down here, this lists different projects. And since you haven't used that project before, it's not going to show up on the list. So what you want to do is you want to go right here to Projects, where it says Projects. You want to click on that. And then go to Browse. Then we're going to go to the desktop, to this Aux Practice folder. And then there's that 25 Aux Practice. Double click on it. And it'll move it up. It'll add it in. You can see the whole link. And it'll put a check mark by it. If it doesn't put the check mark by it, double click on it to make the check mark. Okay? And then say Done. And now when you go to Open, you'll see these files show up in there. Okay? Today we're just going to do the IDW. So we're just going to click on that one and open. And what the IDW does is it's a file, but it's looking back at those other IPT files. So if you delete that IPT file and you open this, it's not going to have anything in it. Okay? So you want to keep those IPTs in that same project folder with the IDW. Okay? Just keep that whole folder together. When you go to take it home, take that whole folder, put it on your flash drive. Okay? You just want to keep that whole folder all together. So, if we look over here, you can see I have 6 sheets for us to work with today. I started out with some basic auxiliary views. And if you double click on a different sheet, it'll take you to it. And I ended up with just some planes. I know they're a little bit harder to visualize, just having a plane there without an object. So start out with kind of just one auxiliary view going each way. Now we need to have 2 auxiliary views, right? To see this true shape, this sloped surface. Because can I see that as an edge view right now? Can I? Yes? No? No, I can't see that as an edge view, can I? So I'm going to have to do an edge view and then a true shape view. Then I have this one. And I've actually got the part in here. So that's this part here. And that made this, so it's exact. So I'm looking at it here, on this side. But what if I want to see this face here? What do I need to do? If I want to look at this face, true shape, true size. I just know auxiliary right here, right? So I've already got that top surface as an edge view. What if I want to look at this face, true shape? What do I need to do? Yeah, I need to get an edge view of that, right? I need to get this view. So how can I get that view? So if it's here, I need to kind of go that way, right? I'm going to do an auxiliary view this way. And then I can go that way to get that view, right? So let's go back here and look at the different ways we can create views. So projected gives us straight across or up or down views. So if I did a projected view, it asks me kind of right here on the bottom, it says select a view. This is like your command line. So AutoCAD, we've got a big fat command line. Here you've got this little tiny thing right here. But it'll tell you what to do. So it says select a view, pick that view. Now where do I want it? I go over here, click, and it's going to let me keep going, so if I want to isometric, I can click. And then when I right click, hit create. It'll make the views.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Hidden lines, everything. Done.
You had that in the other class, please?
Okay? So if you want to move a view, you just kind of move inside of it until you get this little red dotted outline. Then you can click and drag it up. If I move this view, look what happens. It keeps everything lined up. It knows those views should be lined up, and it keeps them lined up. Okay? Now if I want to do an auxiliary view, what do they want to do? I'm going to click auxiliary, right?
Yep.
I'm going to click auxiliary. And I'm just going to pick, there we go, auxiliary. I had that other view still picked, and that's why it gave me that. So I just pick auxiliary. I'm going to pick this view, because that's the view I want to come from. And now it asks me, down here it asks me, pick a model edge to define the view orientation. So if I want to come this way, so I can see that little notch right here, I want to see that notch straight on. I want to come this way up, right? So I can look straight down the end of it. So I can either pick this edge and come perpendicular to it, or I can pick this edge and come parallel to it. So might as well pick that one, come up this way, and there it is. Auxiliary, pick that view, pick that edge, come that way, there I go. Auxiliary is done. Okay? So this will let you make a lot of views and figure out what the right thing is. So that's what you're going to do for this one. This one you're going to find the true shape view. Okay? Same thing here. Find the true shape of each of these faces. So auxiliary, pick that view, pick that edge, come over there. Okay? And then I can do an auxiliary there, an auxiliary there, I got it. If you decide that you don't want to show everything in your auxiliary view, just go in and pick it, right click, visibility off. sometimes depending on what you pick, it likes to pick straight lines together, sometimes, and curves together, sometimes. Sometimes you just got to right click on one at a time to do it. So I just turn all those off and leave that partial auxiliary view. Okay? These ones, this is where the fun's going to happen. Because you're going to have to figure out how to get to it without having the rest of the part there. So if you want to kind of see the overall orientation of it, you might want to do a side view using projected, just so you can kind of see it, if that helps you at all. If it doesn't help you, don't do it. If you think that's going to confuse you, maybe don't do that. But now you can go in, auxiliary, and how do I get an edge view from that?
That back piece.
Will any of those lines give me an edge view?
Yeah. One that's parallel to the phone. Would be best.
I don't have full lines now to see, huh?
But I take the
So,
back
but
piece.
isn't this one parallel because it's
Yeah.
going up?
Yeah.
So where's that line in the top view?
That edge right.
Not.
That's this
no.
one, right? Because this is the point that's kind of in the middle, left to right. If I pick that view, there. Oh, not that way, but oh, that way, yeah. That's an edge view, right? And so you can easily see if you pick the wrong view, or pick the wrong line, nope, no edge view. It's not that line. Okay? So I want you to use this to try and figure out which one's the correct one first, and then try and see if you're right. And if you're not, try and think about why that one didn't work. Okay? So this is how you can try it out a couple different ways and make sure that you're doing it the right way without spending 3 hours trying to do a bunch of views that don't work. Okay? Because next week we'll go back, we might do some more that you have to do in 2D. Okay? And there will be more on 2D. Okay? So you'll have some lab. I'm going to change the lab that I started last week, make it a little different, but it includes something you have to do a secondary auxiliary on. And that'll be lab 1. So you are going to have to do it in 2D for the lab. Okay? So make sure you understand why you're picking the different view, not just clicking stuff and seeing what works.
This one you want an edge view, or you?
Yeah, I want true shape.
The true shape.
So get to a true shape view. And you could do it from either way. And then going, like this here, I've already got one set up so you can do an edge view real easy. But on this one, there's not one. So kind of however you come off of that to get to an edge view, that's fine. But there should only be one step between what you have here and getting your edge view. There should only be one step in between, right? Because if I come here and I pick this line, now this line is parallel to the phone line, right? Isn't that right? If I pick that line and came out, that line is now parallel to the phone line. So now whatever that line is up here, I can come off of that to get an edge view. I just have to figure out which line that was up here. Same thing there. Once you get to your views, if you want to dimension it, you go to annotate or just type D. D is the shortcut for dimension. And so now if you want to dimension things, you can either pick on the line itself, like that, or you can pick on points. And sometimes, on either way, sometimes you have to right click, go to dimension type, and say align. So even if I pick on the line, like here I can't pick a line because I don't have this on there. Like that. Even though I just picked on the line, it's wanting to give me horizontal or vertical. So right click, dimension type, align. Then you come out and drop it where you want it to be. Okay? So find the true shape view and dimension it, or at least 2 or 3 sides, or on the planes, yeah, dimension all 3 sides, so we can see what the lengths are. Okay. Questions? And if you zoom in on those planes, you'll see a little bit of an edge when you're on it. You'll see 2 lines when you're on an edge view, because in order to make it solid, it has to be thick, and so I made it like 1/10,000th of an inch thick. But so you might see that there's 2 things, but don't worry about it. Pretend like it's flat. All right. Any questions? So do those. Make sure you do all 3 of the solid one of the objects, all 3 of the planes, and the 2 that are in AutoCAD. Make sure you do those 2. You can do those first or second. I don't care which order you do them in. Okay? Go for it.